Hey, it's your friend Lindsay. Welcome to Small Business Growth Tools, where we grow our businesses and our faith. Stick around and I'll teach you how to take intentional action to grow your small business. If you don't learn to sell, someone worse will get your client. If you don't learn to sell, someone with half your experience, half the skill, half the integrity is going to get the client. And it's not because they're better at what they do. I already said that they weren't, right? It's because they know how to lead a sales conversation. So let that sink in for a minute. If you don't learn to sell, someone down the road could get your client. Could it be that you are losing clients to someone on Main Street in your local market or on Virtual Street who is just better at selling their offer than you are? And here you have more experience, more skill, and more integrity, and they're choosing someone else that will not serve them the way that you will. Welcome back to Small Business Growth Tools. I'm Lindsay Fletcher. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you are new around here, this episode is on me. And then if you decide to come back for more, we'll do a quick little virtual handshake. You'll hit follow or subscribe, and I'll keep hitting publish. So today we are talking about something that might seem a little harsh. It might be a little hard to hear. But if you aren't willing to learn how to sell, someone else down the street on Main Street or on Virtual Street will get the clients that should have been yours. And it's because they know how to lead sales conversations. This is not about becoming pushy. It's about taking the responsibility that you have as a service provider or someone who sells products to change the narrative and to learn the skills that lead clients to saying yes to you, because you are the most experienced. You will serve them the best, and you know that. But the lie is that selling is slimy. Most Christian women in business believe that sales means that you have to pressure someone, or it means that you have to manipulate someone, or that you have to turn into being that gross person, right? So what happens then is you hold back. You soften your message, you cut your pricing in half mid-conversation when you weren't planning on doing that, and then you avoid asking for the sale. So let me ask you, does that sound like you? Do you believe those things? That sales is pushy, that you have to manipulate people, and that you have to turn into this gross person to be good at sales? Having a great conversation when they're interested, it means you explain your offer and then you say, let me know what you think. And there is where the conversation dies. You're having sales conversations, but you're not leading the client to saying yes. And you might be thinking, but Lindsay, when I do it that way, it doesn't feel slimy. But I'm going to push it back your direction and say to you that it's also not serving them. You are skilled, you're experienced, and you have integrity. You will take care of that client, and you know that they will be happy working with you because all of the other clients that have said yes have been happy. But because you aren't willing to, or you don't know how to bring them to the decision to work with you, they say, let me think about it. Or you say, let me know what you think, or let me know if you have any questions. You soften it just a little bit. So here's what I want you to think about. Someone else will sell to them. If you don't, someone will. What if that someone else has half the skill, half the experience, and half the reviews, and half the integrity? Maybe less than half the integrity, right? What if you lose that customer to that someone? Is selling still slimy? Or would you be serving them by leading the sales conversation to a yes with you when you know that that client would have a better experience? They would get better service, and you know that they will be taken care of. Would you consider selling as service in that situation? Because when you don't sell, people don't just disappear. They make a decision, but they don't make the decision with you. They make it with someone else. They go to someone else, and that person could be more aggressive, less skilled than you, less aligned than you. And your potential customer says yes to that person because they knew how to lead a sales conversation. And then you're left thinking, I could have helped them. But again, remember that you also thought that you didn't want to be slimy, right? And that's the moment that I want you to think about in your business where this shifts from being salesy and being slimy to a responsibility that you have as a business owner, specifically if you're a Christian business owner. I want to remind you that God wants us to steward all of what we are given. He has entrusted you with your skills, your experience, and your ability to help people. Trying not to be slimy and not selling isn't humility. It's avoidance. And what if the thing that you have been avoiding is the very thing that would allow you to serve people at the highest level? Now, listen, I know that you care deeply about your clients. You pray for them. You may even pray with them. But when it comes to leading a conversation from interest all the way to closing the sale, you are choosing to look at sales as slimy. You are not selling and you are not serving them as a result because they're saying yes to someone else who does know how to sell. You are potentially letting them go to someone who doesn't serve them in the way that you would. The problem is you don't know how to sell. And because you don't know how, you then end up defaulting to the hope strategy, hoping that someone will see your content and your social media posts, hoping that someone will see that you are good at what you do, hoping they will choose you instead of the person with half the experience and integrity down Main Street or Virtual Street, right? I have a client that kept hearing, let me think about it, and it's expensive. And she thought that it was pricing or that it was timing or that it was the client. Here's what was actually happening in those conversations. She wasn't asking the right questions. She wasn't understanding the real problem. We often say things because we don't have the language or we don't know how to explain it, or we may be a little bit embarrassed of the problem that we have. And so we say something else. And it's not that we're trying to lie. It's just part of human nature to say one thing and underneath it is the real root of what's going on. She wasn't solving their problems with her offer, and she wasn't setting up the next step. She was reacting in the conversation. She was not leading. And when we changed how she showed up, she started asking better questions. She uncovered the real problems and was able to handle real objections, like the actual things that were in the way of them moving forward and saying yes. And she now guides people towards a decision, and more people are saying yes as a result. And probably the best news of all is that they aren't going down Main Street or Virtual Street and finding the guy with the half-baked business. She is serving them by selling to them because her clients are getting the best service in the area. Now, the results of my client learning to sell are more customers moving towards her business because she has more happy. She actually has so many more customers moving towards her that she's hired another salesperson and she has plans to hire more this year in 2026. She has more confidence and her clients actually have more confidence throughout their time together because she knows how to lead a sales conversation. So here's the mindset shift that I'm hoping to sell to you tonight. Selling is serving. Selling is not convincing, manipulating, pushing, or being gross. Selling is helping someone make a decision. Sometimes the right thing isn't moving forward with you. That's that integrity piece that I keep talking about. Selling is guiding them towards what's best for them and making sure that they don't choose wrong, either not moving forward at all or moving forward with someone with half the experience, skill, and integrity compared to you. So here's the sales shift. Before, you might have said, I don't want to be salesy, or I'm not in sales. Now, I want you to reframe it as, I don't want them to miss what could actually help them. I don't want them to go to someone else that is worse at what they do with half of the experience, half the skill, half the integrity. I'm going to lead the conversation because I know that I'm the best in the area and I am the best person to do this job. And when you learn how to sell, you stop watching from the sidelines. You stop second guessing yourself. You stop carrying conversations home, because we've all done it, right? We've had that sales conversation where things just didn't go the way that we had planned, or we really thought they would buy and say yes to us, and then they didn't. And we're left wondering what the heck happened. They were happy in the conversation. They said, yes, this is something that I want. And then nothing happened. And then we carry that home and we stew on it all night. In business, it means better conversations, faster decisions, and as a result, better clients. You get better clients when you do better work, right? But what I want you to think about is the impact that it has in your personal life, because you will know how to lead sales conversations at home. It means that you are more present with the people that matter most to you, because you don't have those sales conversations that ended up going wonky or ended up nowhere, swirling around in your head all night, right? There's less mental noise and there's less stress in your business because you know how to lead someone to a yes. There's that scripture, Proverbs 11:14, where there is no guidance, a people falls. And then there's Joshua 1:9, be strong and courageous, that you will reap the harvest if you do not give up. So when you learn how to sell, you are not pushy, you're not manipulative, you're not salesy. You become a leader, a guide, and a steward of the gifts that God has given you. The work that you do that you're really good at, that has to be stewarded. And if people don't know how to say yes to you, or you don't guide them to a yes with you, you can't do the work that God's called you to do. So if you don't lead them, someone else will. You're giving it your all, you're marketing the heck out of your business, but you're sending your clients to someone with half the experience, half the skill, and half the integrity as you. Is that what you want for people? No, of course it isn't. I know that. I know that's not what you want. I know that you want to serve these clients and that they would be better off staying with you. So here's what I want to normalize. It's actually normal that you've never learned to sell. It's normal to try and figure out things on your own. But I want you to take this back to your potential clients. They need you, and they need you to learn how to sell to them so that they say yes to you instead of the guy down the street with a half-baked business. They need you to learn how to sell with confidence. So if you are the type of woman that invests in yourself and you are ready to take the next steps in elevating your conversation skills, I'd love to tell you about the Sell with Confidence Challenge that I'm hosting live on Zoom, May 18th through the 21st, where I will walk you through how to set yourself up to becoming someone people easily say yes to. You can find more information at lindsayfletcher.co/challenge. Your future clients are relying on you to figure this out. So join me for the challenge. If you're tired of watching people walk away, if you're tired of second guessing yourself, if you know you could help them and you're the one that should be doing it, this is your next step. lindsayfletcher.co/challenge. Thanks again for joining me for another episode of Small Business Growth Tools. As always, I'm praying for you and I'm praying for your business, and I'll talk to you next week.